Okay, we will. You're welcome. Be blessed. Okay, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, that was Mr. Byron. Yes, we are so excited because he has a CD, John 3:16. We're going to play a little bit for you in a little while. And yeah, he's still doing what God has assigned for him to do. You know, when we talk about think big, Deb, we talk about thinking off the chart, out of the norm, out of the everyday situations.
Oh,
you know, and it doesn't matter what's going on in your world, you still are called to think big. Because God has blessed us to, you know, have the mind of Christ.
Yes.
And with the mind of Christ, then he can plant what he wants to there. And it's up to us to do what? Woo! Follow through. That's right. Follow through.
And you know, the last time we had Byron here, we talked about his albums and how he gets his inspiration. And so I'm real pleased. I'm happy for him that he, you know, followed through and he got his songs done. And so he's real blessed.
Amen. Amen. And as he said, I'm not a singer. He said, I'll write it. I write it. And I'm laughing because I'm like, I love your voice, you know. It's unique. And God uses whom he chooses to. You know, and so he may be on that CD with a couple of songs, you know. He may not want to be, but that's all right. That's how it is.
I'm just going back in the past thinking about Nat King Cole, how he just wanted to play the piano. And somebody encouraged him to just sing a few bars. And after that, I mean, everybody was in love. I won't say everybody. I know I was with his voice.
I think that, well, you know, I'm going to go on and step out by faith and say everybody, because you know what? So many people had gravitated toward going in to listen to Mr. Nat King Cole.
Yeah.
You know, so it is unforgettable. Gosh, that man was awesome.
Oh my goodness. Can you imagine to think that all he had to give was just playing that piano? So we don't know what we have, you know, until we step out on faith.
That's right. By faith and trust God to teach us how to think big. So callers, what I want to challenge you to do, call in. Give us some of the ideals or a little bit of the concepts that God has given you when he talk about think big. Yes. I think God has given me some things that I'm looking like, Lord, how am I going to do this? And he's like, by faith.
By faith.
By faith.
One step at a time.
That's right. One step at a time. Because if we think we're going to get to the end result as soon as we start, then we've failed the test already.
That's why a lot of people don't get things done, because they expect results right away. You know, you got to have patience.
That's
right.
Have faith. That's right. That's a part of following the Father, guys. You know, when we talk about a fab lifestyle here on Coffee Talk, we're really looking at talking about following, really understanding what that F stands for in fab. We're not just saying I'm fabulous because I'm rich. I'm right because I'm good looking. And you know, this is something that I'll never forget, you know, working with young people and everything. You ask them what's good and what's bad. And I'll never forget doing this whole exercise with a group of kids. And so teaching at all times because God has called us to, you know. And with this group of kids, this was with the Grade 8 Club this summer, I showed them pictures of things that were pleasing to the eyesight and people that were pleasing to the eyesight, and people that were just struggling, and some were dirty, and some people just had some grungy jobs, and then some that was just, oh my goodness, we looking like, oh Lord, help them. And we said, we're going to label good and bad. So we want them to put those photos up under that label, show me good and bad. And each time, every time, anyone that was pleasing, that looked rich, looked wonderful, that was, you know, fabulous, had the bling bling, had the long blonde hair, or, you know, the long hair looking wealthy, anyone that was pleasing to the eyesight, they didn't care what it was. They were always good.
Oh my goodness.
But that's what our society has taught a lot of times. If someone was as chocolate as me, and I mean a little bit more chocolate, probably a little bit of a little blue under their skin tones, because that takes you into the darker skin tones, they're looking like they're bad. But see, then we go to our dictionaries, and it says that black is bad and dark, and you know, things of that nature, and white is awesome and good. And so, you know, what are we teaching our kids? We have to really work with that.
And it's not so much teaching them, it's what they see.
Yeah.
You know, and it's what they prefer. You know, they watch TV all the time, and they're like, So the thing about it is just to teach them to take people for, you know, the way they are, the inside. Don't just look at the outside. Let's look at the inside and see what they're about.
Exactly.
You know? And that's a hard lesson to teach.
It is, that you're beautiful inside and out. And that's a part of following the Father, Deb. Really being able to acknowledge and recognize what beauty is. And that's a part of that mind, body, and spirit. Really looking and saying that mind has to do that exchange. Is it a good concept? Do you have a good feeling around that person, around that spirit, that they, you know, their spirit? I hate to tell people sometimes around some of the most beautiful people, as they want to say, externally, you walk up and you feeling like, oh.
Yeah.
They don't even have to open their mouth sometimes.
Yeah, you can look and see.
You could feel that thing. You know, spiritual warfare is real.
Yeah.
And that's the things that, you know, this summer, one of the major ideologies that I brought to the table and talked to the kids about is really going with that gut. And I think we talked a little bit about it last week when I talked about how Derek's 10 years old, and that's Deb's grandson, and how he had a gut feeling. And you know, you try to correct that because you think he's being mean.
Try to override it.
And try to override it, but it was just something there. He just, no. And either we allow him to have that gut feeling and to talk with him and work through it, that he don't want anyone to have him doing what they're doing that's negative. See, because kids do things that we don't know sometimes.
Yes.
That's very negative, and Derek knew. We didn't know, but he knew.
Yes.
You know, and again, I'm just looking and saying, hey, following the Father, understanding the process, and really paying attention to how we're interacting and looking at good and bad, right and wrong, because you are what is preferred in our society don't make you right.